What's up, guys? Welcome back to King Kraken Sports. Mike here. Today I'm coming at you with a video that hits a little close to home. And right now, my Toronto Raptors are on a 3-game losing streak, which in itself is really bad. But then when you factor in who we've lost to, it makes shit really bad. Right now, the Raptors are in second place in the East behind Cleveland. And what's really disheartening and depressing about this is that the Raptors had a chance to actually overtake Cleveland in the standings based on the fact that Cleveland was facing a very tough schedule, while we had one of the easier slates, in the league for about a 2-week stretch. Cleveland was taking on teams like the Warriors, the Spurs, the Rockets, all within about a week or so. And the Raptors were looking at a schedule that's Brooklyn twice, the Knicks, the Celtics, which is a tough game, the Sixers, Hornets, and then the Suns. And Raptors couldn't capitalize on it. We beat the Nets twice, which we should have done. We beat the Knicks, which we should have done. We beat the Celtics, despite trailing most of that game. It was looking really good that maybe we could just kind of keep a sustained level of success. But that Philadelphia game, the wheels fell off. I understand that Philadelphia in the new year has been a very... their growth has definitely improved since the new year hit, and they're 8-2 in the month of January. But we were having some offensive issues in the games before. We were struggling to put away teams like the Nets and the Knicks and the Celtics. And it just came to a head in Philadelphia. We ended up losing down the stretch, so Philadelphia ended up beating us. And then we should have been able to come back and bounce back against the Hornets, and instead we got the brakes beaten off of us. And we only put up 78 points against Charlotte. And Charlotte, whether they're the Bobcats, whether they're the Hornets, they've always given the Raptors a fight, no matter how good we are, no matter how poor they are. Now, Charlotte is a playoff contender, but there is no way that they should be beating us 103 to 79 or 110 to 79 or whatever the fuck it was. I know we put up we didn't hit 80 points and they hit 100. And that's never good. Kemba Walker does what Kemba Walker always does against Toronto, which was just, he doesn't miss. He does not miss. And ironically, two of the players that usually give us problems, no matter where they are, they're on Philadelphia, and that's Gerald Henderson and Ilyasova. Those guys suck against the other 29 teams in the league, but against the Raptors, they see dollar signs and everything is money. But it really came to a head last night against the Suns. No real reason that we should have any issue with the Suns. We lost to them in Phoenix earlier in the year, but that's because we were coming off the road trip where we were facing the Lakers, the Clippers, the Warriors. We did our Western road trip, and on the way back we faced the Suns. And we had just had a game in Denver. So, going from Denver to Phoenix on a back-to-back, that can cause a lot of issues, and they beat us. But yesterday, come on, we're on a 2-game losing streak. We've got a young team in the Suns that's got the 3rd worst record in the NBA. Guaranteed W, right? Nope, not at all. Lowry really struggled to hit from 3. DeRozan was taking some really questionable shots. Lucas Nogueira continues to be probably one of the worst players in the NBA, but still manages to get minutes. And I want to address that for a minute. Sorry to get off topic, but seriously, I'm really getting tired of when I read on Twitter in the Raptors community about just how bad Jonas Valanciunas is, but Lucas Nogueira is suddenly the best big man in the division. Give your fucking heads a read. All right, you need to be shaken until you actually understand that Lucas Nogueira has no fucking talent. He's 24 years old, so he and Jonas are the same age. He's 24 years old. He's lazy. He doesn't move on defense. He's worse defensively, whether it's in closeouts, and Jonas gets a ton of crap for his closeouts. But Nogueira doesn't even move his feet. Can't be bothered to give a defensive effort sometimes. He's got longer arms and can block shots, but he can't play defense. He can hit threes, which Jonas can't, but Nogueira should just not be on the floor. He's lazy. He doesn't care. He whines. He complains. He fouls people, blatantly fouls people, and then looks shocked when they actually call a foul on him, realizing that when you're that shit, you're not going to get anything to go in your direction. But Dwayne Casey, for whatever fucking reason, has decided that Lucas Nogueira, as lazy as he is, and as useless as he can't catch, he can't pass, he can't shoot, he can't play defense, is our starting power forward while Patrick Patterson is out with a knee injury. I don't get it. And Nogueira plays more late game minutes than Jonas Valanciunas does. Again, I don't get it. That being said, Nogueira returned from his concussion from being hit in the nose. He wasn't hit in the head. He got kind of bonked on the nose and missed 2 games with a concussion. So he's soft, too. But Nogueira, again, proved to be useless. DeRozan wasn't taking good shots and got hurt. He's going to be out for the next 2 games. Lowry couldn't hit a 3. Terrence Ross couldn't hit a 3. The defense was questionable all night. And we let Phoenix hang around. And that's been the problem for a lot of this season, is that we're playing to the level of our competition. We see a team like Brooklyn or New York or the Lakers or the Suns, the Mavericks, whatever it be. If they're really having a down season, we, for whatever reason, don't think we have to try as hard. We don't treat every game the same way. And unfortunately, the problem is, we've seen that in the past where we go from facing one of those really bad teams and we have a really bad start, and then we have to face a really solid team or one of the best teams in the league a couple days later, and we still are kind of stuck as if we're facing that that really crappy team, and we get the doors beaten off of us. It happened to us the last time we faced the Spurs. We were facing a really shit team, the night before, the game before. We went out and faced the Spurs, and they beat us by like 35 points. And that's where this can get really ugly for us, because our next 2 games are actually against the Spurs and the Grizzlies, and we're doing this without DeRozan as well. So we're now even more undermanned because Patterson's hurt, Carroll's been hurt, Nogueira is on the floor at all. DeRozan's going to be out, and we're facing 2 really good defensive teams that have no issues blowing people out, which would stretch it to a 5-game losing streak. Now, honestly, I think that what this team needs is just to try to get to the All-Star break. Where we are in the conference at that point doesn't really matter, because I do think that we're going to be within the top 4 in the conference regardless. I don't think Atlanta's going to have the staying power in the top of the conference, and Boston just really isn't a very well-rounded team, so being in that top 3 is basically a guarantee. Get to that All-Star break, have that rest, and then I think by then everyone should be healthy and able to contribute. Maybe we give some more minutes to Pascal Siakam. Maybe we're able to trade Lucas Nogueira for a headband. But, as something's definitely wrong with this Raptors team, and the losses are going to come, but hopefully Casey and Nick Nurse and the rest of the assistant coaches, they're going to be able to devise a game plan that's going to keep us well positioned, for the playoff push. Honestly, I don't think that this team is as good as the one last year. Last year was an Eastern Conference, team, Eastern Conference final team. Everyone was a little surprised, but we weren't really surprised here in Toronto. We all thought that we were the second best team, and that teams like Miami and Indiana, while they competed with us, they weren't really on our level when it came to the end. This year, I'm a little bit scared. I think, really, there is a potential that we're a second round out to Boston. So that's going to do it for today, guys. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to you again later.